don't like that. I don't, it's always shooting down something she says, and that plays a part into making a person feel more insecure, more like, oh, you don't need me, or even I'm not good enough for you because nothing I can do is right. And they both, I don't know if they notice that they do it to their partner, but they both doing the same thing. Jody is just more on an obvious level than Chris is, but he does the same thing. He tears Sandia down in little ways or whatnot. And that's because his confidence and his insecurities are high. His confidence is low and his insecurities are high with himself. So to make himself feel better, what he has to do is break her down a lot more. And that also keeps her in a realms of depending on him, needing him. So hopefully she recognizes it that, he's not giving me the love and the attention that I deserve, and tell him about it. And if he actually fancies her and values her, he'll make the changes that he needs to. If not, she can go about her way. So hopefully she's recognized her worth.
Definitely good points. And I think watching Chris and Jody, like we say, they're exhibiting behaviors of hating their partners, man. And I use the word hate like the Bible uses hate. Jacob hated Leah. It's the same kind of thing. I don't like you. You know what I mean? I don't like you. I never liked you. I ain't gonna like you. And I feel like Chris and Jody were their partners. And I think with Chris, the fact that the fact that Sienna is even still there, it's what's even more frustrating. That you're wanting to stay, you're wanting to stay, in a situation where, you're being undervalued. You know what I mean? And this situation isn't beneficial to you. If we're honest with you, it's not beneficial. You're not getting what you need out of the situation. You're getting less than what you actually deserve and actually what you want. And he because he doesn't like her, he's able to say these things, right? He's got nothing to lose. He'd be saying all the nice words with Jody over the table. Jody be saying all the nice words to him over the table. Pretty much flirting almost in a sense, and people can sense it. The disrespect is even increasing. Like the more that, and this is again goes back to people actually not being dealing with disrespect from early. Disrespect from early. If you don't nip it in the bud, it does become a greater problem later on. And you shouldn't be afraid of losing something if that thing that you're losing weren't even good for you in the first place. You shouldn't, right? If that thing wasn't working for you, wasn't good for you, don't be afraid to lose it. But yeah, Chris and Jodie, I mean, they're not the worst human beings ever. It's more of a case of they don't like their partners, and they're showing it clearly. You know what I mean? So yeah. I'll leave it there. Any other thoughts on Chris and Sienna before we move on? Yeah. All right, let's move on. All right, cool. Let's get to the next couple. Let's talk Diamond and Aaron, who became the counselors of the show today. They were counseling everybody out, and getting everybody business. Yes, Sean, go for it.
Yeah, I needed a trigger warning. It seems like every episode I need a trigger warning, whether it's DV, now it's my eyes are being assaulted because I don't know why OWN needed to show me that man putting that woman's foot in his mouth, because I'm still traumatized by that. I'm sorry. So I'm going to sign up for a coaching session, Kojo. Hopefully, as a panelist, I can get a free, hour, and we can unpack my trauma, because why do we need to see that? A foot rub, I don't have a problem with, a nice rub down, but why did he have to put her whole foot up in his mouth?
I got a quick question. Can we get a 2-for-1 special? Because we both got the same traumas now. Me and Sean suffer from the same condition. The first.
He was up on them toes, boy.
Yo, I and it was like the narrative. It's like you have to narrate the scene and everything. It just really it's like it's like you gonna tell me what's about to happen. They could have cut it. Like they're always production is always accused of leaving things on the editing room floor. I just wish that could have been left on the editing room floor. You know, leave them to their intimacy room, let them have their moment, whatever the moment consists of. I don't want to see that. That was too much. So now that I'm past that, thank you for listening. Thank you for letting me vent. You know, that's just, I needed to vent. That's what Sienna needs to learn. You know, just tell people what you need. I just need to vent. I needed to get it off my chest because it's something that bothered me. But with the two of them, I wish they would stop being, you know, the Dr. Ruth and Dr. Phil and Dr. Iyanla and all the doctors and the relationship coaches of the house. Because I need them to focus on them, what they're doing. You know, they all up in the intimacy room talking about other people's relationships. No. That's those are the things. Those are red flags in a relationship. If all you're spending your time doing is talking about other people, we're in the intimacy room. That's a time for us to connect. That's a time for us to connect. Let's talk about some of the things that we're working through. I don't want to hear about nobody else's drama. I don't want to hear about nobody else. Unless they're coming in this room to, you know, join us in the activities, then I don't know why we're talking about them in the intimacy space. You know what I mean? So I just think they need to lean back out of that role. I know they're the elder couple, and that's great. Wisdom does sometimes come with age, but it don't always. It don't always. So, you know, that's what I think about these two. They seem like they have a capacity to make it. It seems realistic, you know, and I wish the best for them. I just want them to stop talking talking about the other couples. And I don't know, maybe it's me, maybe, you know, I'm projecting here. But even when Diamond got on the phone with her daughter, and it was almost like she's telling her daughter about what they're about to do, it's like, I don't know. I guess I'm projecting the way I feel, but I don't want to talk to my parent about, and I don't want my parent telling me when they're about to get it in or they're about to do something. I don't want to know. Do your business, whatever you have to do. You're a human, you're grown, you're adult. You need to do what you need to do. Let me be in a mystery about what happens between you and the sheets. Too much.
JR.
Had me facing, bro. You had me laughing. Yeah, I think they're trying to assume the role of the elder statesman of the group because of their age or whatever. And like you said, age don't necessarily bring wisdom. But I think they're doing it in good spirits. Like I be like harmful or malicious with what they're doing. I think their cohort, the fellow couples, work out if they can. I was also put off by him making love to her feet with his mouth. That was gross. But I feel like I hope they don't show more scenes from inside the boom boom room. Be the private time for couples to take it as far as they intimacy wise. I don't think we need to. Um, yeah, I think that their their bond is obviously stronger than the other couples because at least they're taking it to the boom boom room. They've already done all the talking. They've got to know each other. They're comfortable, and they're the only are on that level where they feel comfortable going there. I definitely agree as well. Like the oversharing, I don't want to see Diamond go and give a play-by-play to her daughter about what happened and all that stuff. That's also going to be quite gross. Like I say, they have gotten to that. Um, they're both grown, and if they feel comfortable, then I can't hate on it.
Diamond with a Y, beautiful woman, daughter, look just like her mama. But why are we going to the boo boo room in the first place when we have made a vow of celibacy? We ain't doing nothing or whatever. Is we just want to go over there so we could talk about the other couples? And I don't want to rehash the things that I seen, but why are we doing those things if I have a vow of celibacy, if it's a turn on to you? Because I mean, if she's turned on by it, I'm not personally turned on by it, watching it or having it done. But if she's turned on by it, why are you letting it happen in the privacy of the boom boom room? I'm just trying to figure it out, because why compromise or celibacy, abstinence, whatever you want to call that you're in right now? Why are we compromising that? And if we're gonna talk about him, what is this blue fingernail? I'm confused. I'm confused. I'm really confused. I don't know what that means. I'm learning new things in the world, because the world is evolutionary and it's forever changing. So I'm learning new things. So I just want to know what the blue fingernail means. Anybody could tell me, please help me out, because I don't understand what that means. But as far as another person who is people, let me say people, that is all up in people's business, but we should be talking about theirs. Because we still need, as the audience, to understand this wedding ring that wasn't a wedding ring. We were just trying to get an attention ring. So while you saving all the other couples, can you save yourselves and tell us how we got to this wedding ring and why you didn't think the relationship was going to work or whatnot? Let's hash that back out. Because granted, y'all do look like a solid couple who has been working on some things, but you decided to come on this TV, so we need to understand how we got here in the first place. And ma'am, could you not be sitting here trying to tell me and your daughter that you and this man don't be having arguments? Because I know daggone well y'all argued about that daggone ring. This ring is true. I know y'all argued about that ring. So don't be telling you now in the house, maybe y'all not having no arguments. Okay. You was better off telling compared to these people, I'm glad we know how to work through our arguments. But y'all not beefing, and he had proposed to somebody else, but you came with a whole attitude when he first got here, and he was like, oh, here you go, don't start that. Okay. All right, ma'am. All right, I'll let you have it, though, because you the house residential counselor or whatever y'all supposed to be. Child, I need to see some credentials, because I ain't gonna hold them, though. They be giving some solid advice. I like how Aaron J made them use the guitar string to try to talk, but that didn't work out too well. But he tried to have effective listening sessions. But somebody wasn't listening to the directions in the first place, so there's that. And with Shay and Josh, I didn't hear no valid advice given to them, but we'll let them have it, I guess. Maybe they gave it to them and they just decided not to air that, whatever. Otherwise, I guess we need somebody to stay in the business so we know what's going on with these couples. So it's working its purpose. But please stay out of like JR say, stay out the boom boom room with the camera. That is supposed to be a private, sanctified place for these people. Please stay out of there with the cameras, okay? Let them be. We don't need to see no more of that.
Definitely hear you on that as well. Definitely hear you on that. Any other thoughts on Diamond and Aaron before we switch it again? No? All right. I appreciate that. Let me just shout out to why is it done like this? Why can't I do? Have they changed things around on StreamYard? They have, haven't they? They haven't done the split. What are they doing? Okay, so I'm gonna have to do it that way. Okay, cool. Allow me to do it.
I did want to add some positivity, because I felt like I came down on them hard. I struggle with my empathy these days. So, but I did like that they were a safe space for Brandon. I think he definitely needed that. He needed some good counsel and some balanced feedback from a woman and a man. So I do appreciate that they took the time to try to pour into him. So I thought that was very positive and, really healthy that they helped him, because, I mean, listen, after Sienna thumped him. He needed to be built up. So I'm glad that both of them gave him some constructive feedback and, were very supportive.
Appreciate that, Sean. Yep. Let me just shout out to the members. I know we've got a new member coming through. Let me click on the link. Yes, shout out to Ari for this. Thank you very much, Ari, as always. We appreciate you for helping other people to be a part of the community. It's always nice when we do some stuff.
Here we go, like that.
Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Thank you, Ari, for that as well. Much appreciation. And I know we got a new member joining us too. If I can find a comment. I don't know what stream I've done. They've taken away the thingy, which would make it easier. So I'll find that comment in a second or two. But yes, we're gonna. Oh, there we go. Yes, the Delay Aya. Shout out to you for joining as well. Thank you for joining the membership and the people them. And we
Is
appreciate
your start section still gone? That's where it comes from.
Yeah, it's gone. Like I
that's
can't
weird.
see it.
But it's still on
Is
my
yours
side.
there?
Yeah, I can see it on my end. That's crazy.
Okay. Yeah, that's weird. I don't know what's going on there. Maybe I need to refresh or whatever. Who knows? Okay. Cool. Let's shift it again. Let's talk, obviously, Greg and Millie. Millie. Let's talk about Greg and Millie and see what your thoughts are on these two. Someone say slow it down. Just want to get to know you. I was going to sing two different songs, actually. I was going to say slow down, get to know you like Boy Valentino, but all I could hear was slow down, get to know you, so I can show you. And I was singing Missy Elliott. But what's your thoughts to Greg and Millie? Yes, Sean. Because Sean not ready. So.
Hey, meanwhile, before Sean go, I got the Little Mermaid in here. All you got to do is kiss the girl.
Oh man. Yes, Sean, go for it. Sorry.
I appreciate Millie, want to take her time, and I think she's right. I felt a little bad for her when he kept kissing her in that pool, and she was like inching back and back and back, and he was going forward. I was thinking Aaliyah back and forth because I think, listen, I think they have good chemistry, but I don't think the both of them are on the same page, because Greg is telling Brandon that he need to, give Sienna some of the lash to keep her cool down. I think they're on a completely different page. I think Brandon is ready to go to Pound Town, and Millie wants to be taken around town. They in two different parts of LA, hence why they haven't seen each other in 3 years. Literally and figuratively, they are in two different parts of the county. So God bless them. I don't think it's going to work out, because clearly Millie, and I hope she gave Greg that feedback, because it's good feedback to have, because it lets us know as a man where you are, and it sets your boundaries, for yourself. So, I think I really hope that she did give him that feedback afterwards, that she shared with the ladies of how she wanted it to be a little bit more romantic. But, and again, we see Shay doing what Shay does best. Yes, that's right. Meanwhile, she ain't doing that. So don't be saying yes. Because y'all, you opened your mouth and kissed him all with your whole tongue as soon as y'all met the first time. So Shay, you might want to advocate for Greg in this particular moment, instead of just listening to Millie and giving her the same perspective. But, I think I love the boundaries. I think that's great, especially when you're just meeting somebody. To me, I was saying in the comments, I like that, because that lets me know that you consider yourself, you value yourself. And it's not to say, I want us to be waiting weeks and months and years, but, just at least let's get to know each other. Let's build a connection in person now, instead of just jumping right to getting physical before we really know each other. And she likes a little romance, and that appeals to me because I'm a romantic kind of guy. I'm an R&B romantic kind of mindset of a guy, so I like that. And I think, look, if Greg can alter it, perhaps they can get closer to each other on what they want. But if he's going to stay fixed in where he is, he needs to find somebody that's aligned to him and his pace.
Good points. Jay, what's your thoughts, Greg and Millie?
Yeah, I agree with Sean. He needs to find somebody that is in the same race category that he's in, because she wants to take it slow. She's not trying to go for that. And I mean, it's not that she's trying to take it slow. According to what she told the girls, is that she's waiting for this build up, something grand to happen within. She wants the butterfly. She wants the anticipation feeling. She wants that I just want to touch you or whatever. And I don't see if something must be off between both of their energy, because if we both in a hot tub, I've been sitting on your lap all this and I don't feel that, one of the two of y'all, if not both, got an issue. Now, I will give her this, because he has been coming at her every 5 seconds about being in Pound Town, and clearly she is not a neighborhood. That's not her neighborhood she belongs to. I can see her hesitation, because that's giving her a pause, like something about you I just don't trust. And I'm not going to say that he has to work extra hard, because, it should be more easygoing, some more just a freelance chemistry, as she puts it. Like it should just organically flow to each other. It might be just her, because she has her walls up. And I said this last week, is them walls is kind of strong, and we're going to see how they affect how she dates in the real world. And I guess apparently next week she'll be telling us why these walls are so daggone strong, because there's something that's going on that's preventing her from opening up just enough to feel anything with him. But you've been talking to him for 3 years. That's kind of weird to me. You've been talking to him for a long time, but you still don't feel no butterflies. You still don't feel anything, like just at least for a kiss. Now, I can understand maybe we in a hot tub. I don't want to give you a kiss up in here because you might get the wrong idea and try to do a little too much or whatnot. But I mean, we can get out the hot tub. I can get sit with you on the couch, and then we might be able to cozy up and give a little kiss. And an African made a good point. Has she expressed that to him? You're going around telling the girls how you feel, but have you actually told this man, hey, listen, you're just moving a little too fast for me. I need to slow it up. When time, prevails, I'll tell you actually the reasons why I need to slow it up. But I just don't like the way you always talking about sex. And there's nothing wrong with that, because that's still about boundary setting too. It's like, I don't like when you always speak to me this way. I want to be treated this way. Sometimes you got to teach people how to treat you. So if you're not telling your partner, but you're telling everybody else, that's ineffective to the relationship. What's that's going to do? He's going to continue to do the thing, and you're going to continue to be repelled by it. You're not giving him a fighting chance. So if you actually do like this man, give him a chance, tell him what it is that you want, see if he can deliver on what you want, and then go forth from there. And vice versa.
Go for it, Jay. I said JR, sorry.
Yeah. Now, so been said so far. I'd also say that, each other for 3 years. Like, you've done all the talking already. So a lot of things could have been established depending on the type of conversation that you were having. Probably been talking about what it's going to be like when they probably had that conversation about how fast or slow they want to go. If they haven't, then I'll be very concerned, because 3 years is a long time. So what have you been talking about? And then you also know that you're going to be meeting. So there is the potential for you to have some alone and build on whatever connection you've had. I think the pool setting, late night pool setting, both half naked in the pool. I think to some people that quite a romantic setting or a good place to try and establish where you can go physically, right? Um, but I think that if she has reservations about how, she definitely should tell him as soon as possible so he doesn't make the mistake of overstepping the boundary that she has. And I think he'll also be quite receptive. I get the impression that he does actually like her and he's her and take the time necessary to build a connection in that way first, you know. But yeah, he does kind of talk about going to the boom boom, these other things quite frequently. But also, there are some people that would be doing that because you've had 3 years without it, that you haven't had any physical touch with this person at all. So when you do get into close proximity, i.e., she's sitting on your lap, you're going to shoot your shot if you're confident enough. And sometimes, the kiss may not land in the way that you expected it to. Didn't happen, or the earth didn't move, or she didn't feel it. So, I think with communication about how she's feeling and how the speed she wants to take it, then they can progress. I don't think it's anything serious at the moment unless he continues to try and rush her into doing something that she doesn't want.
Appreciate that. Thank you very much. Yeah. Any other thoughts on Greg and Millie? No.
Yeah, just one last thing. I think Greg's made a couple of comments that can go either way. And I don't know if he's misinterpreting what Millie is saying, and that's a dangerous place for us guys, where we run into some challenges where he says he doesn't mind chasing her. And I don't know that she's asking him to chase her, but asking him to, continue the process, get to know her, get to understand her boundaries. I don't think she wants to be chased, so that you run into a dangerous scenario when your mind starts clicking that way, where you think, oh, she just wants me to chase her, she just wants a little push and pull. And if you misread the signals, you can be in an uncomfortable position. So I think it's just something he needs to be alert on. And it wasn't just that comment, it was that combined with saying that Brandon needs to give, Sienna some tool to help her along and to get her to calm down. He's like, that's going to buy him 24 hours of peace, where I think, he just has to adjust and try to understand what's going to be beneficial to the particular person, right? So once you start adding intimacy in, you're going to send things to the next level. If Sienna's acting off the chain already, sex is not going to be the thing to calm her down. Even although her friend did give her similar advice. So, but yeah, that's not going to be it.
Definitely understand that. I think with Greg and Millie, I think interestingly enough, I know he likes to rush things a little bit. He said it himself. And I know she said she wanted a bit more of that romance. He said he wanted a bit more of that, I guess, forethought for it a little bit. I think they just needed a bit of. I think they needed a bit more of the emotional connection before he got to that point, right? And like I always say, listen, look, you have to convert the sale. You know what I mean? In these situations, in relationships, it's all about the buy-in. Have you got the buy-in? Have you got the buyer convinced that they want to buy this product from you, right? And I'm making it obviously business-like, but it's like sometimes people jump in 2 feet before the product has been born. They get excited that the customer is a little bit interested, and they jump in without the customer actually being ready to buy. And I feel like sometimes that can happen in interaction between men and women. Like sometimes as men, we can get excited by the interest, but she hasn't actually bought the product yet, right? And so once that happens, timing is everything. I'm learning that myself, you guys. That timing is a key product when it comes to relationships, right? you know, and that once you time it correctly, it seems to it goes down well, you know, and things run smoothly. So it's a case of, and poor timing is usually an indication of an imbalance when it comes to how we deal with our emotions and how we handle other people's emotions, and how we actually pay attention to the room and the people within the room, right? And that usually is because either we've got poor social skills, or we're afraid of being rejected, or we're afraid of making a mistake, or we're afraid that, you know, we won't be loved or won't be cared. Whenever there's a lie and there's a fear, there's always a potential for there to be an incorrect timing that comes with a judgment or an action as well. And I'm learning that myself. This is something I'm learning in the season with the big man upstairs, and just learning about how I'm dealing with relationships. That the fear is what causes the poor timing, right? But when you're planting a seed in the ground and you're wanting that fruit to be ready, you know, you don't want to pluck that fruit too early. You want it to be ripe, you know, so when you pluck it, you're ready to eat. But if you take it before it's time, I mean, except for plantain and bananas, you know what I'm saying? That's a little bit different. But, you know, the usual fruits and stuff, like, you take it before it's time, what's going to happen is, you know, you won't get the benefits of having that fruit ripe, right? Unless you are, again, a manufacturer and you are sending that fruit to a shop, and then you want it before it's ripe, because then you want it to take its time and ripen as it travels. But you're not that person. You're a human being, right? So you want to plant, you want to be able to, you know, harvest at the right time, and that comes through a balance. You're not fearful, you're not afraid, and as the Bible says, you know, there's no fear in perfect love, right? So it's finding that balance, and I think Greg just needs to find a little bit more of that balance. Get her buy-in, get her emotionally invested, get her a little bit more deeper, marinate the mind a little bit more. The chicken isn't really ready yet. It needs to be marinated a little bit more, massage it a little bit more, right? And this will all be yours. You know what I mean? And this will all be yours. So it's just a lesson to anybody out there. It's not just because she's a woman, but actually generally because we actually need to spend time, you know, marinating sometimes certain things, and then you can, you know, enjoy the festivities of the flavor that comes with a cooked meal. Yes, Sean, go for it.
Jay put the perfect song in the chat, and you know, I just love a lyrical rendition. And it's Janet Jackson, Let's Wait a While. And I'm just going to do a couple of verses because sometimes they get crazy with lyrics on YouTube. But it's Let's wait a while before we go too far. I really know not to let all my feelings show, to save some for later so our love can be greater. That's the song Millie. That's on songs. That's the song that's on Millie's, you know, playlist. And you know, so Jay, thank you for reminding us of that beautiful timeless song. And unfortunately, Greg is Sexy Red's Pound Town, and we don't need to do a lyrical reading of that.
Bow, 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 bow.
What about this point here? That it's 3 years, and it's 3 years, and yeah, that's what Jay. It's 3 years, and you know, that they should really have that connection. As well, but I'm covered by the blood. But yes, you know, what's your thoughts on that? Because obviously, it should have 3 years. It should have, you know, should have been sorted by now. Should have had that connection already. What's your thoughts on that, guys?
I've already said my thoughts on it. It's like 3 years, you sitting on his lap, you in the jacuzzi, and you still don't feel butterflies, you don't still feel up tingling, you don't feel something. There's a holdup. Now, either he's giving you a pause for the cause by his behavior, or there's something within you that won't let these walls down to let him in. I guess as we continue to go through this season, we'll figure it out. I know next week she's supposed to tell us some stuff, so maybe it'll make sense on why there's a holdup. But yeah, somebody is not letting somebody in, literally.
I just caught what you just said there. I was a bit slow, but I just caught what you said there at the end. Yes, Sean. I literally just caught. I was like,
wait. Yeah, no, listen, 3 years, what? Just like, I mean, I don't take anything serious if we have been in communication for an extended period of time and we haven't seen each other. right? And I think that just because we've been talking for 3 years, that doesn't mean that there's an entitlement. And again, this is something I've had to learn, right? It doesn't mean that you're entitled to someone. You have to wait and see if there is a connection. And if y'all have been talking for 3 years and only been 30 minutes apart, then there's some reason. And clearly, the way Greg carries on, he hasn't been abstinent for 3 years. So he's been getting it popping. Maybe Millie hasn't, or, maybe she's had a relationship, or I don't know, whatever. But long story short, if we live that close and we haven't jumped to the next stage, then I think we should take our time before we start going to now, because we're in a house together. That means, it's there. And I think, listen, if your energies match, your energies match. I think that's the bigger thing. If they're both on the same time, like Shay and Josh are on the same time. So for them, it's nothing. They're having a good time. Nobody cares. Let them. They probably should slow down a little bit, but hey, they could do what they want to do. They're grown, they're consenting, they seem like they're enjoying each other, and they're moving at the same pace. But when two people are not on the same page, somebody has to take a step back. And it can't be, oh, well, we've been talking for 3 years. No, are we on the same page? Do you feel comfortable? Let's get on the same page with each other. So that's what I think.
I hear you on
And
that.
I think I think there's a difference between having the connection online and the physical connection needs to be developed as well. It may, take another 3 years, but between talking to someone every day as like your friend online, or you're texting, messaging, when you get around each other, is there a physical attraction there enough to move to the levels that Greg wants to take it? And go there, then yeah, like I said, she needs to just let he's feeling, and I'm sure he'll be quite receptive. He doesn't seem like, I don't know, but I don't think he's gonna be wanting the 3 years that they've been dating, rushing in so quickly. He seems like he's prepared to wait. So yeah, we just have to see how that pans out.
Yeah, I mean, listen, can I be honest with you? And I mean, if I take my coach hat on and give an opinion rather than, a coach kind of perspective, what y'all been doing for 3 years? Can we be honest with you? Because if you haven't built up enough of that emotional connection that she's not getting the butterflies now, yeah, it might not be coming. It might not be coming, right? And the reality is, more than likely, both of these people here are settling. Yeah? Both of these people are settling. Okay? All right? Because y'all in the same town and none of you could have seen each other, number one, for 3 years. Number two, we're on a slow down situation when we've had 3 years to get to know each other. In 3 years, I should know everything about you. In 3 years, I should be an expert in Millie language, and Millie should be an expert in Greg language. Right? So when I meet you, it should just click because we've had 3 years to get to know each other. Right? Now, the reality of the situation is that she's sensing a particular type of energy, and I think that's what she's really fighting. It's not necessarily it's been 3 years. I think she's fighting the fact that, she want to give it up too soon. But it's been 3 years, darling. Okay? It's been 3 years. And the reality is, those 3 years have not been well spent. That's the truth. Because, you see, in 3 years, you should be able to trust this person. Right? Because it's an emotional connection. You've built that over the years. But the reality is they haven't probably been building that very well, right? And there hasn't been that much of an emotional connection because both of y'all probably been doing other things in between that time. You've been with other people. You've probably been talking to other people. So the concentration hasn't been on that relationship. Therefore, the trust hasn't necessarily been built. So when we're flowing in this direction, yeah, it's not going that way. It's not going that way. Or it's not as easy to go that way because we didn't actually spend those 3 years on each other, right? 3 is a great number. Biblically, when you look at it, Daniel, Meshach, Abednego, and I always get the third person as well. They were in Babylon. They were in Babylon and had to be trained for 3 years. Jesus taught the disciples for how many years? 3 years. Okay, all right. Shadrach probably, yeah. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
And
Thank you.
Abednego.
And Daniel.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes, thank you. 3 years, right? So 3 seems to be the number of transformation. Whenever you see in the Bible, 3 years, there seems to be a transformation that takes place. I think Paul also was taking 3 years as well, right? So 3 years happens. So if you've done 3 years and nothing has transformed for you 3, yeah, more than likely nothing has really been taking place. You haven't really been spending time with each other, and so therefore nothing has transformed. We're still at square one. Right? We're still at square one. So I'm not saying that anything's wrong with Millie or anything's wrong with Greg. What I'm saying is, I just don't know if we spent our time very well. I don't think we spent our time very well. That's what I would say more of a case. Yeah. I don't know if you were going to say something, Sean or Jay.
I was going to say, it's definitely given. We've been talking off and on, here and there, hit and miss for the last 3 years. And now we're in face to face. So let's really talk. Or whatever. But even still, if I'm talking to you hit and miss and I fancy, like, I like how you look, I'm still feeling something. Now, when I get to talking to you, I might not feel it as much when you start speaking back, like, I don't like what you said too much. So that's why I said either her walls are just is made out of concrete, or he just keeps talking his way out of the boom boom room by trying to insinuate going there every 5 seconds. So maybe if he chills a bit on the sex talk, and that was her first thing that she said, she still hasn't seen the serious side. So everything is a joke. Everything is sexual innuendos with him or whatever. So I think that's also feeding into that she may have a wall, but it's making it worse. So I think Greg just need to change up his approach just a little bit and see how that plays out for him.
I also think the intimacy challenge that they had, she was saying, look, I know we're going to go further. I'm comfortable. So she was already saying that with her legs up in his hands, and he's between them in fights. So maybe he thought that she may have been ready for the kiss. Who knows? And thank goodness he only tried with the kiss. But I also think if she wasn't with it, as soon as then say something. He also has to be intuitive to know that if she's pulling away, then she's not feeling it. And he kept going after it. So like I said, I feel like they can just communicate a particular aspect, and that might work. I don't want to see him keep persisting with trying to take it to a physical, and she's not feeling it, and he doesn't know. Down that downward spiral. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I think you made some good points. I mean, everybody did. Maybe they really weren't talking a lot about intimacy, or what she likes, which is weird to me, because I think, like, when you're talking to someone and really getting to know them, and you're not in their person, you kind of can ask questions that you can just throw a question out there, right? And I think just kind of say what you need. And I don't know. Sometimes people also, like, she seems to be very much romantic, because some of the things that she said was like, he didn't even tell me I was beautiful. He didn't even, give me a compliment. She wanted more romance to it. She wanted, so she has this idea, which is romanticizing the connection, or that's the thing that opens up her, to feel, more free to be that in that place. And I don't think he was necessarily giving that to her. So I think he also has to kind of, to what JR was saying too, is like, read her energy and also hear what she's saying, which isn't always an easy thing, right? Because sometimes we as guys, we think because we've had success with women in the past, and like, we've always done X, Y, and Z, and it's worked, and we've gotten good feedback, but that's not the case for every woman. And I think that's the thing that sometimes we need to learn. Like, every woman is not going to be the same, and you need to learn your woman and listen to what she says she wants, so that you can tailor, your approach, so that you can get the best results out of her because she's telling you what she wants, So I think that's something he also has to be a little bit more in tune with.
Good points. I definitely hear it. All right, cool. Let's move on to the one that everyone's been waiting for. Let's talk, obviously, Sienna and Brandon, because, baby, this is the one that's going to eat you up. Okay, all right. Sienna and Brandon. Sometimes these situations ain't too pretty. Sienna and Brandon's situation, they got into a bit of a kerfuffle. She threw some flowers at him. She's cussed him out earlier on. She don't listen very well. She had a pen in her hand and she didn't listen very well. But I want to get you guys' thoughts on Sienna and Brandon, what you thought of them two in this particular episode. Why are y'all smiling like that? What y'all seen that I ain't seen it? What y'all
next comment.
They're suspecting why Greg may not be getting an opportunity with Millie.
Hey, the way she leaned back, it might be true though.
They say maybe he got a little bit of halitosis. He got a little breath issue, maybe. But it's all speculation. Halitosis. Oh, but wait, before we go on, she also said in the preview, I don't know if you saw, Coach, but she mentioned she doesn't know if Greg is ready to hear about her trauma. So
I didn't even know she said that. Oh, wow.
No, yeah. Next week she's supposed to tell us what the issue, so that might help us understand why she got
so
them.
I'm not sure what Millie, she might have something deeper to go on for, even more so why he needs to just,
pause a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. I didn't know that. That's a fair point. We consider it. Okay. Oh, Deacon, tell to us, man. Sienna. Yes, Deacon. Sienna.
I was like, we don't know our positions anymore. Sean said, I done been moved up in the church. I don't know what to tell you, baby.
Hey.
Yeah. He said, I don't respond to Deacon anymore. I was like,
I didn't hear you. I didn't hear you say Deacon. I didn't hear that. My bad.
Hush. In the name of Jesus.
In the name of Jesus.
In the name of Jesus.
No, it's the snap for me. In the name of Jesus. Yo, I would never show up to church again. I'm sorry. You got one time to talk to me that way. She did need to be quiet a bit, though. All that howling and hooping, I don't know what she was going through.
Just a little. I can't lie. Just a little bit.
Oh, we're not going all the way into a whole different segue. But Millie, I mean, speaking of needing to hush and needing the unction of the Holy Spirit, not Millie, sorry, Sienna. Woo! Sienna, she needs Jesus. She needs a therapist because this is horrible. And Brandon needs to learn boundaries, because I think he's been here before. Because I think his behavior shows me that he's been here before, and that he continues to try to acquiesce to her, or try to make sense of her rantings, and he just wants to just make it peace. So he's that person that when she's happy, he's like, I just want you to be happy, but he forgets that the other 80% is all chaos, So I just really want him to have better boundaries for himself when it comes to Sienna, because she's a whole problem. I don't understand how she just worked herself up to be triggered all by herself. She gaslit herself when the whole problem, and that's the worst thing. The worst, sometimes that self-talk that you have, that whether it's negative self-talk, whether it's revisiting something in a relationship that you've already gotten over, but you want to revisit it and start thinking about it again. Like she said, I was just sitting here. She was happy. They were talking. She's like, but no, I was just sitting here thinking. And now I think I have a problem. I think you were calling me boring. And it's like you've already built the narrative in your head. And I think that's the dangerous thing to do is once you start running narratives before you have a chance to ask the question, I think that was extremely problematic. The biggest thing was she was already assuming the worst when she was asking him what he spoke to Millie about. So it's like, how do you ask somebody a question, but then you answer it the same way? Like you already have the answer locked and loaded, and then you want the person to be open and vulnerable with you, to share with you a conversation they have. Tell me it's like a parent. It's like, your parent is like, old school, they're about to give you a spanking, and then they're going to tell you, I'm going to give you something to cry for. Don't cry. Oh, no, you're not crying? It's like, what are we doing? It's an abusive, toxic cycle. And I think her communication skills are piss poor. At least she remembered that the guys in her past have called her inconsistent, because it seems like she has a real problem recalling the train of events and facts. So that's my overview with her and Brandon.
Go for it, JR.
Yeah, I think one of the major inconsistencies that she has shown, she's not able to stay cool. She is very inconsistent with that. So that may be what some of them guys were talking about as well. Her first time wilding out, this is probably how she is. Even when he tried to answer some of the questions at him, because she did have a lot of insults and questions at the same time, but going off.
JR, you kind of frozen, buddy.
Witness protection, I got him again. Sienna to cut him off.
Sienna was like, easy. Easy on the feedback there, bro.
What did you say?
What are you saying? I can't hear you. I don't want to hear you. Oh, by the way, we gotta shout it out for JR. It's his birthday today.
He can't hear us. I'm trying to give him a little time to come back.
JR, can you hear us?
No, I think it's totally. Child, you should have expected that Wi-Fi, the inspector.
Jay, don't be petty on the man's birthday.
That's birthday love, baby. You know what I'm saying? These birthday shots.
It's not a birthday roast. Jay want to roast you on your birthday.
Right. Netflix brought the roast back.
That man was stuck as well too.
He went out and came. It must be a UK thing.
I think it's been happening to him lately. I don't know.
Better get it together across the pond. So supposedly, I keep hearing this. I don't know if it's true or not, but supposedly the rumor on the mill is Sienna is not 43 years old.
Don't matter.
Supposedly she's in her 30s. I know people keep saying she's 43. Supposedly she's 33, 34, something like that, but still. You back, birthday boy?
It's that galaxy light he got going.
He's getting all the birthday calls, kicking him offline. That's what it is. He got that smile. Somebody called and was like, "Ooh, I got a birthday gift for you."
Oh, she had showed up in their birthday suit. That smile big,
right? No, sorry. Before I got really interrupted by my crazy connection. Yeah, I just feel like she was just steamrolling him every time he opened. So I feel like every time he communicates with her, it agitates her even more. She don't want to hear his explanations. She's not feeling him. I really think that if anyone's holding a grudge out of the both of them, she tries to hang on to every little thing that ticks her off and then blow. And I think he's and unsettling, which is why he was shaking and all that stuff. I think he wants to match her energy. I think he wants to try and diffuse the situation and get out of there if he can. But she just you know, she gets more and more enraged the more time they spend around each other. That stuff that she was saying, like, get the F away from my bed, all this other stuff. Then when he's in the group setting and everyone's talking to him afterwards, she comes downstairs, makes a point to pick up the flowers and throw it at him in front of everybody as well. I don't care about that, man. Like, and I feel like if he's in that situation, then next time it could be something else. It could be a bottle or it could be a knife, whatever's to hand. I don't think she has the self-control to restrain and calm herself down. And I think Shay, you know, pumping her up and gassing her up is going to do anything to help the situation either. So I feel like she needs to go home. I don't she alone is going to fix the damage that she's caused to their relationship. You know, and again, I think there's the connection they have, and I think she may be slightly underwhelmed by what she's seen after meeting up with him and spending time with him. And it's made her enraged, and she just can't control her temper. And anyone that can't control their temper, they don't deserve to be in a relationship. Any little thing can trigger them, and if they lash out, it's something serious.
We just can't get right, can we, people? Sheesh. So the person, the self-proclaimed great communicator, has the worst communication tactics in the world. Communication comes with listening. She don't do very well. Communication comes with effective, basically communication, but effective, you know, talking back, being able to calmly express your points back to somebody. She don't do that either. Communication comes with patience enough to listen and hear the other person out without interruptions. She don't do that either. But she's the self-proclaimed on this show great communicator. Y'all just sit with that for a minute, okay? Because I just don't understand how such a great communicator is the one running around the house screaming at the top of her lungs and eventually throwing things at people. I mean, I guess you're getting your point across that you do not like this man, but you could have said it a lot more easier. Like, you could have did a lot less things. You insulted this man, yet he's supposed to just deal with you, as she put it. This is me. If you don't like it, you could leave it. You know, and I know y'all keep saying zero self-awareness, but it's some there because she's heard this before. She said it several times. When Brandon said something, oh, 3 other people said that. When her friend told her something, story of my life. So you've been told about yourself several times, but you don't feel like you're a problem. That is the problem. But the common denominator in all your situations that you speak on is you. All of these people that have told you these things can't all just be the crazy ones and they don't know what they're talking about and I don't have a problem. No, sis, you have a problem. Because if you're sharing your vulnerable moment and your first go-to reaction to them laughing is to call them out their name, your issue's a little bit deeper than, most people. And I'm just going to tell you that right off top, because most people is just going to just shut down really and not say anything to that person anymore. It's just like, okay, you take me for a joke right now. All right, cool. But you trying to say that because he constantly told you that you were inconsistent and he also laughed when you were being vulnerable, that he is a B. Well, when he was being vulnerable, you took his vulnerable moments and spread it through the whole house. When he tried to be vulnerable with you any other time, you always want to start screaming and yelling and not give him a chance to speak at any other time. He come into your room at a chill time. He thinks you cool. He come into your room, but like Sean said, you've been sitting on this thing and thinking about it in your head. Now, oh, you call me boring. He didn't call you boring, sis. He said he was bored in the position. That doesn't relate to you being boring. So yes, again, you don't listen very well, because you would have heard him say this is boring. He could have been talking about the whole thing, that you're sitting on his stomach and he feels like, oh, this is what would be doing if I was just at home with my girl watching TV. Because literally he went into that saying, it's like, just give me a remote control and I can watch some TV right here. It was boring to watch. I'm sorry. So if you feel like he called you boring, yes, then I feel like you're boring too, because it was boring for you to sit there right there on his lap to me. Now, do I feel like you're the only problem in this situation? No, I don't. I also feel like he's a problem in the situation, because at some point, sir, you don't have to be overly aggressive, but you can be assertive. You can sit here and say, hey, you cut me off about 3 or 4 times already. I'm trying to express my point. Do you want to hear me or not? You don't have to be rude with her back to get your point across. You can simply say, listen, you're going to give me a chance to talk. If you're not, then I'm just going to go ahead and leave this conversation all alone. And we don't have to have a conversation at all. When you're ready to talk, you can come talk to me like a man. You're not going to be yelling at me and none of this stuff like that. But you can't be passive aggressive and keep letting it happen, because that person thinks that now I can treat you this way any other time I feel like it. You already let the beach thing slide, because the fact that Diamond with the Y and Aaron H had to ask, did you apologize? Means she didn't apologize in the first place on her own accord, which she should have. And the only the reason the apology was given is because they said something. So we already have bigger problems right then. I would have, like he said, I would have been done then. I'm not even trying to try with you anymore. You can sit in this kitchen while I fix this dinner and stuff like that. But tomorrow I'm packing bags and we out this house. Don't worry about it, because we're good. Because if you didn't feel like what you did was disrespectful to me, then there's no need for apology. Don't waste your time. If you went to sleep the whole night and woke up, and now we're here somewhere in midday and you still haven't given me an apology until somebody else asked you, don't save it. Just go ahead and save it. We're good. Because I don't feel like you mean it at this point anyway. Every time she cuts you off when you're trying to have a conversation, just say, ma'am, do you want to hear me or not? Do you want me to answer your question or not? Because you keep asking me a question like this. I can answer you if you stop. I'm not about to yell over you. I'm not about to talk over you. But as soon as you decide that you want to be quiet and let me speak, then I will. But back to the rudeness of Sienna. Ma'am, all that. Ain't no woman about to talk to you. Child, a kid might not even talk to you, might not address you either. You know what I'm saying? Because you're being highly rude. That's rude, to be in somebody's face slapping and all this stuff like that. Child, people that got popped for less. We seen Candace's mama pop her with a pocketbook. So please stop. Okay, please stop. And I'm not condoning violence or anything like that, but all that in the people's face, that hand gesture and all that, that's not necessary. If you're an adult, 34 is considered adult. 43, whichever age we want to go at, somewhere in between, that's considered adult. Have an adult conversation with the person. You might have gotten the information that you asked for. He might have sat there and opened up and told you what he told Millie. But let's not forget that you had a whole conversation with Greg and not act like you wasn't down to him in the conversation with Greg. That's the only reason why you feel like he's downed you in the conversation with Millie. If you ain't doing people dirty, you won't feel like people doing you dirty. Let's address that part. I don't know what's going on inside of you that got you so triggered and wired up when people say some corrective criticisms to you. But you might want to work on that if you actually want to have a successful relationship, and work on the communication that you say you're so good at, because that listening skill is very, very terrible. Very terrible. Child, about 4 or 5 different people in the house gave you things. They told you things and you interpreted every single way that you wanted to. They told you when the person's holding the pick, they get to speak. That went wrong. He said the exercise and stuff was boring. Oh, he calling me boring. You hear when people agree with you, though. That's the crazy part. You hear that part. You hear when people agree. That's wild. So, ma'am, I need you to get you some help. As Sean say, don't waste a therapist's time to just going up in there and not actually seeking the help and just want to talk. But go in there and really work on yourself. I really feel like you don't need to be in a relationship right now. I don't know if this man makes you feel intimidated because he's well versed, he's traveled or whatever. I don't know. I don't know if the thought of being a stepmom makes you feel some type of way, then you shouldn't have been in this relationship in the first place. And I'm gonna say it again. If you feel like a person is a certain thing beneath you, a B as you want to call them, why are we entertaining that in the first? Once you found out that he was less than whatever you looking for, you should have left it alone. Why we continue to have these conversations for 9 to 10 months or whatever? So I don't know. I think they just need to both be off the show at this point and go ahead and carry on.
Yeah, I think it's unfortunate, but there's probably a story there when it comes to her and her having to fight and advocate for herself somewhere where she always feels like she has to fight as her defense mechanism, because that is unfortunately her go-to. She seems like, she's a pretty woman, but that beauty has probably got people to tolerate her, but not keep her around. And I think, unfortunately, that's why she struggles in keeping long-term relationships and not getting what she wants, because she's too busy in this fight mode. And every time she's like fight or flight, but she's fighting, and I think like she can't risk. I think she doesn't compute any type of feedback. She internalizes it and makes it personal. As soon as he said the comment, "You're bored," I'm bored. Yeah, could that be hurtful? But articulate yourself. Ask him questions. What do you mean? I was a little embarrassed. To what's boring you? And then check yourself. You were sitting on top of him like you were sitting on a toilet. There was nothing intimate about that. Meanwhile, Taronda is telling you you chose the path of least resistance when it came to the exercise and the pose that you chose during the Kama Sutra thing. And then you chose it. You didn't even say, hey, which one do you think? Is this, you like this one or whatever? No, you said, we're going to do this one. And then you just sat there. At least if it's going to be something you choose, get into it, right? So if you're going to choose the pose, then go all in for it, right? And be enthusiastic. But no, you're going to sit there like you're doing a number two and then be upset because he said he's bored. Yeah, because you're being boring. And meanwhile, you're getting feedback on the other side too. So it's like she just, as soon as she gets any information that she's not doing something right, I don't know, maybe all her life she was criticized. Maybe, growing up, she wasn't given positive affirmation, or she had to be rough and tough. And listen, the Bronx, I get it. Depending on where in the Bronx she's from, it could be a rough place, right? She could be Sienna from the block. So she's Sienna from the block. I think that's the Sienna that we're seeing, unfortunately. But if you want to be in a relationship, you have to soften a little bit. You have to communicate. You have to articulate. You can't jump to conclusions. You can't create negative self-talk. And those are all the things we consistently seeing her doing. And then to be throwing them petrified roses on the floor like that at him, I think that's rude. It's like, what's wrong with you, lady? It's like you have to be the center of attention at all times. And it's very disruptive. You see it's consuming, because all the couples are like, ooh, are they good now? Are they good now? That's when you know it's toxic, it's abusive, it's unhealthy. Everybody was like, oh no, they're smiling when they were talking. Oh, they look like they're smiling, they're okay. They always have to check her temperature to make sure she's okay. That's a very volatile person. And she needs to really, really get that under control. Everybody has to, when you're in a room and everybody's like, ooh, I wonder if she's okay today. We can't talk to her today. She's that person at work. Like, oh, she walked in. Ooh, is she smiling? Okay, it's okay to say good morning. Yeah, nah, you need to get your attitude in check, sis, and go to anger management.
And I'll also just add, when Diamond was talking to with the pick challenge that they set, like the hostility that she showed even then, like she didn't want to be told anything about the way she may be communicating effectively. From the outside, horse in the race, right? So I feel like she's just very defensive, but she's very prepared to put her gloves on and get in the mud, out your business, disrespecting you in public, you out, throwing things. It's just gonna escalate. So, for me, there's no going back with this particular couple because an apology doesn't make amends for all of the things that she's done in this short space of time. They've only been around each other a few hours. But what she's done is kind of tarnished their time talking prior and the connection they formed. Like now, I think she does need to go and do something to get over those things, get help or whatever she needs to do. But he needs to get out of there because if he doesn't, she's going to feel emboldened more and more. If she just simply apologizes and he says, okay, baby, it's all right. And next time she gets mad, it's going to be some, right? She's worried about how she's going to look on TV and what he might be saying. But she is the one that's ruining her own reputation on TV with her own actions. No one else, it's her that's doing it. So, she needs to have that self-reflection. Maybe it comes to her when she watches the show, but she's not in a position right now where I would suggest that Brendan stay in that relationship. It's not going to do anything but leave him walking on, not knowing whether to say hi or hug or whatever the case may be, and been to the boom boom room yet, because then she'll probably be worse if there's an emotional, like a more sexual component to their relationship. So he needs to be out of there. I hope he does stick by what he said to the group and say, you know what, I'm done. I'm packing my bags. I'm out. And then if he leaves, then she got no choice but to leave because there's nothing there for her.
Can I say this? I don't understand what the point of bringing the friends for if the friends is not actually going to sit down with the other party more so than their own friend. Y'all could have had a phone conversation with them people for that. You wasted them people day to come all the way out here to sit down and talk to their friend, because it actually did no good for the situation. But it did let us know that people are very biased in their run back of stories. And if she's going to be doing that in a therapy, she's going to be wasting her money, because the whole point of having a friend that you actually trust and confide in is to be able to tell them the whole situation to get their actual feedback and advice if that's what you're really looking for. If the friend is actually here to give me advice, should I continue with this relationship? I should be able to tell my friend, well, girl, when he sat there and laughed at me, it made me feel some type of way, because you already know that I be triggered when people do this, because from this or experience or whatever. And I know this friend only just know her for a couple of years or whatever. But if I'm bringing somebody on, it's going to be a person that knows me, because I'm going to have a real conversation with them. And there's one thing I don't do when it comes to my friends and actually getting advice from them is sugarcoat the story. I'm not going to tell you I have truth. I'm not going to make myself look like the victim so I can just have you on my team. You're already on my team, so I don't need to rally you up. I need to actually get some real feedback. Like, girl, am I tripping? What am I? Is it me? Am I doing something wrong? It was convenient how she left out. She called him a B, but she want to go ahead and he was talking about me to another woman. Did you mention that you was talking about him to another man? It was real funny how you conveniently left out all of that part. And even when you was recanting the story with Shay, you was doing some of the same things. So, unfortunately for her, until she actually realized her parts in a lot of these things, she's going to always be the victim in her story, which is really weird because it's your story. So you want to be the victim in your story every single time? Everybody else does you wrong and you just such a good person that you don't understand why they're doing you like this. But you've heard from 3 different people, and now Brandon is making the 4th that you're inconsistent. That didn't give you a pause like, why do these people keep calling me inconsistent? Your friend comes in and says something along the lines of, or you tell your friend that me and him been arguing and stuff, and somehow she says something that makes you say, oh, story of my life. So don't you want a better life? Sometimes you got to start looking at yourself and the things that you do before you start criticizing the things that other people do to you, and look at your part in the situation. Why did I call that man out his name? Why was I so bothered by him laughing in the moment that I just called that man out his name like that? Why did I feel the need to go in front of the group and try to belittle him and his past experiences with the children, the mothers of his children, and all this? Tell him he's incompetent of having a real relationship because he's had failed relationships. Like, I'm not sitting in the same space talking to this man. So why did I feel like this was a need for me to do that? Why did I choose this man in the first place? What in me made me decide on Brennan as my selection going forth, to even invest this time? Was I just desperate because I came out of a pandemic situation and, this is the first thing that showed me some attention? Or did I actually like this man for a reason? And why did I actually like this man for a reason? What in me was attracted to him? Sometimes you just need to sit back and ask yourself these questions before you just be sitting here trying to tell these stories to get everybody on your side or whatever. And I don't know what the point of these friends, because both of them didn't really help the situation. You got her telling her, oh, maybe you just need to have some sex with him, and he talking about just work it out. You've been patient all this time, and you keep quiet on some things, but maybe y'all should just talk it out and work it out. Child, you could have kept these people at home.
Any more additions?
I'll just say this as well. Listen, with the whole intimacy challenge, you failed it. I'm talking to her directly. You failed it because you didn't put any effort into choosing a position that was going to bring about the best connection or the best way to build a connection. You literally just chose the first thing just to get it over and done with. And the position you chose, you had your back to him. There was no eye contact. There was no embrace. There was nothing that's going to pull you into an intimate setting with him. Nothing at all. So that's what he was saying was boring. He's staring at the back of your headpiece. Couldn't even see your pretty face. You didn't even want to give him that because you're not feeling him like that. That's why. So now you're triggered because he wasn't into it. Like, he thought he was born. He was literally just laying on his back. That's all he was required to do for that intimacy challenge. So that's why I feel like she scuppered any opportunity to kind of build that closeness because she chose the position. He just went along with it. And that's where I think his main problem is. He's one of these guys that will just go along with it. And it's not going to keep the peace, though, because she's going to keep piling on and on and on. No matter what you do to appease her, it's never going to be enough. All right. Once she's got her mind set on something, that's it. She's going after you all the time, and you're not even going to be able to prove her right or change her mind. So I feel like she orchestrated her own situation. She triggers herself by allowing certain things to take place that she could control, but she doesn't even have the foresight to think things through. If the outcome that she wants is a more harmonious connection with him, then you have to, she has to do the work to make that happen. Because it shouldn't be the case that he's always trying to pacify and put out these fires, because evidently that doesn't work. She gets more and more amped up until she gets her own way. And when she don't get her own way, then she's going to throw a tantrum, which might result in something being thrown. Like I said, if they're in the kitchen having that argument and there's a blade close by, or while they were cooking, they got into something, I'll be concerned. That could have been a pan or some hot oil or a utensil coming in his direction. It's not cool. It shouldn't be and I don't think he should let up on it. Spend the night with her, even if it isn't in the boom boom room or anything. He needs to be concerned whether they've had an argument before they go to sleep, because You're not going to be able to sleep around her. She's the type of person who will mess you up. She holds on to things and she gets riled up by her. If 3 or 4 people have spoken to her about the situations and she's not receptive, if she's had 3 guys tell her that, you know, the same thing, she's inconsistent, if she's getting heated at every single piece of advice that she gets, other than when the host was telling her about the lack of effort in the intimacy, other than that, she's been triggered about everything related to Brandon. So like I said, a simple apology ain't going to fix it. And I don't care who's caping for her, wherever they may be around the world. But no, like people say, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. And this is who she is. So I believe it. And I don't even think it's about location. Because when we had LeRon saying that it's a New Jersey thing, everyone piled onto him about it. So the New York thing, I'm going to say it's her individually that needs to realize what she's doing and how detrimental it is and fix up. And don't put yourself around other guys so that your hostility and toxicity can infect them with what they're doing. Sort yourself out first.
Any more thoughts, guys, before we bring it to a close?
I was gonna say this last question, the Delilah. I mean, those last things. Okay, tell her. Okay, Dominique, Lady Dominique. Okay, she wanted to go out with a bang. She did. She not making herself look good for the future men out there. Okay, because if they are watching this, which they probably ain't, but if they are, they not about to put up with this either. She gonna get temporary Gregs. That's what she gonna get. She gonna get the Gregs that just want to get in and get out or whatever. But ain't nobody about to sit here and put up with somebody that keep want to just tell you that this is me, that's my attitude. You just got to deal with it. You got to fight through it. You got to prove your love to me. No. Go fix yourself, ma'am. Go fix yourself. You need to be single. She need to stay single anyway. So hopefully ain't nobody jumping in her DMs anyway. She need to be single for a little while. She got a lot to work on. Especially if she thought this was a good idea. Let's go out with a bang. Let me throw some flowers. Let me get a assault charge up on me or something. That's wonderful. That's great.
Hey, I definitely hear it. Definitely hear it. Well, our time's come towards the end. We've got the 2-hour mark. So I'm gonna let Sean Deacon, usher us. Take us to that place, sir. You know what I mean? To that secret
Now
place,
he a deacon and an usher. See, that's why he confused earlier.
He's on DU. What's that? What? He's gonna have an eye next.
I'm a multi-hyphenate, as they say. Multi-hyphenate. Woo! You know, this episode, we're learning a lot, I think, from this Never Ever Mets. And for the most part, a lot of these people should have left it at they never ever Mets, because what we're seeing is when people get together and meet and they're not on one accord, it can be a whole lot of foolishness. So, we'll start out with, the easy couple, Diamond and Aaron H. Listen, it's always best to tend to your own garden before you reach across the fence and start tending into somebody else's, because while you minding somebody else's garden, the weeds can come up in yours. So feel free to give good sound advice, but make sure that you got your stuff situated first before you start getting into somebody else's garden. And please keep your toes and your feet and your mouth to yourself in public. Thank you. Then we got Sandia and Chris. If you don't want me, then don't talk to me. We see this all the time. It works for both men and for women. If you don't really like the person that you're with, then you need to set them free. Don't hold on expecting something to change, because people are not like the weather. They are who they are. And sometimes the patterns may change, but they typically are who they are. So if you don't like the person, then just move them along. Greg and Millie, Jay gave us the perfect song. Let's wait a while. Sometimes it's okay to slow it down. Sometimes it's okay to get to know somebody before you jump into all the physical things, and read the room. Get to know, for the fellas, get to know your lady, the woman you're interested in. Ask questions. Don't assume, and try to understand what her needs and wants are, so that you can tailor your approach to get the best out of the scenario. Josh and Shay, we love y'all. Just keep doing what you're doing, but please, again, stay out of other people's stuff. Don't give them advice. Just smile and nod. If you don't have any corrective action when you see bad behavior, don't encourage folks. Please don't encourage them, Shay. You need to call out bad behavior when you see it, and not continue to make someone feel like they are encouraged to act out in a very bad way. Last but not least, we got Sienna and our poor boy, Brandon. Look, first advice is to Brandon. All you need is one good red flag, one good stop sign, one good red signal to move on. And don't continue to expect somebody to be something they're not. When you see a hurricane, believe it's a hurricane and move around. Don't continue to go into the eye of the storm, my good brother. And Sienna, get help, please. Get help. Back to you, Coach.
Thank you, Sean. I appreciate that. Listen, audience members, it's been an amazing time. Good conversations. We've enjoyed ourselves tonight. Look, make sure you guys are liking, sharing, and subscribing. As always, we appreciate you. And I like to just say as well, thank you for joining us as members as well. It's always good to have you guys in the conversation. And have some fun as well. Listen, whoever you support on the show, keep it cute, keep it class, keep it kosher as well. We're trying to be more graceful in this season. Trying. And listen, it takes work. So listen, we're all trying to get to that same destination, okay? All right. So just have a bit of grace for each other as well. But listen, last but not least, don't forget as well, guys, I'm doing some great coaching. My diary is booked for the next 2 weeks. So I'm gonna need you to get in there early, because listen, he's getting booked up fast. Okay, all right. So we're booked up for the next 2 weeks now. So if you are looking for coaching, please use the link in the description box. It's calendar. You can book straight into my diary. I think I've got my 3rd week of May. I'll be open. It's open again. It's not much appointments in there, so do start booking yourselves in there as well, please. Like I told you guys already, listen, I'm trying to give you guys the first dibs, because once this goes beyond, I haven't promoted this anywhere else, by the grace of God, once this goes beyond this YouTube, it's gonna blow. You will not see me again. I'm just gonna I'm just gonna tell you the truth. When I hit that level, I'm gonna be bougie. I won't have no space. You know what I mean? So, all jokes aside, I do actually want to help as many people as I can. And I want you guys, if you watch me, you follow me, like, you have direct access to me straight away. Like, click on that link straight away, book yourself in, and take advantage of me while we can. Because once the price goes up, the price goes up. You know what I mean? Once you reach that level, do you know what I mean? So, I want you guys to take advantage of me while we're in this season, while I was in this place. Take advantage of me, get in there, book yourself a session. You pay according to whatever you feel the service is worth. And I really want to be able to help as many people as I can. But the fact that I'm already booked 2 weeks in advance already is telling me we're moving with speed. I don't want you to waste time. Okay, so get yourselves in there. But listen, other than that, we're really appreciative of that as well. And I will be reviewing a new show. There's a new show that's coming on May 15th. I can't remember what it's called, but it's got some Ghanaians in. And I said, what a wonder. They're in Ohio. And I said, wow, fantastic. So I'll be reviewing that show. I don't know what it's called. If anyone knows what it is, then definitely I'll let you guys know. But yeah, listen, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. Click on that bell button for notifications. Oh, did I forget something, Sean? Did I forget something?
Summer House. Did you say Summer House?
I didn't say Summer House. Jay, are we doing Summer House tomorrow?
Tomorrow we're doing Summer House. Yeah, I like how you start scratching your head right there and stuff, talking about a week. Me and Sean are doing Summer House tomorrow.
I will be joining for like 15 minutes. Absolutely.
Me and Sean are doing Summer House tomorrow, bro. Another round. We'll be doing it. Kojo may be in attendance. So if y'all don't see it on his platform, please come over to another round. We'll be reviewing Summer House. Okay.
What time are we doing it? Is we doing it 4?
4 p.m.
4 Eastern.
Mm-hmm.
And
Eastern.
guess who caught up on all the episodes now too?
Anyway.
Yes, so
She felt left behind like I did. I hear it, Seaway.
4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. PST. So yeah, we'll be there tomorrow. Be here, be square.
Listen, 4 p.m. EST, guys, on Another Round's channel. You can see on Jay's there, Another Round, her YouTube channel. 4 p.m. EST will be doing Summer House. And very soon as well, Sean will be doing full-time YouTube too at this rate. He'll be joining us too at this point. Come and join us, Sean. He can give us some banking information. Shoot.
I'm about to hit Kojo's chest.
Are you prophesying now? In the name of Jesus.
Hush now.
You're gonna have to get that as a clip, Code.
I'm gonna have to get it.
Get that as a clip.
In the name of Jesus. It's the fact that he also walks over her as well. So he actually walks over to her as well.
He confronted her, boy.
He was angry, boy. He said, This one affects my spirit. I want to go and talk to her personally. I mean, hey, we should talk about that one day because I think that it's actually a good conversation to have. But
it is.
Let me answer this question. It is on Bravo. You can watch it on Peacock already right now, but Summer House is on Bravo.
It is on Bravo. If you need a link,
it's gonna
watch the show.
Yeah.
I don't have one, but that's what
I was gonna say make sure you're watching Martha's Vineyard because it's a regular Summer House too. Because I can't just say Summer House. We watching the Martha's Vineyard Summer House. Okay, we're dealing with our people.
That's right, with our people. Let's end on a great note, shall we? I found the clip a little bit. Let's end on this first note.
I live my Hey. Stop her. Hush, hush. Silence in the name of Jesus. I lift my hands into the only voice I want heard is his. Oh, praise.
Can't lie, you know what? She was ruining a really good moment. I can't lie to you. The song was, when that music just gets that beautiful place, you just hear a little, and and I can't lie to you. Sometimes it does frustrate me when I hear the. It's the most annoying. I can't lie to you. Sometimes it is annoying. Oh, you're hearing a shrill. It's like, okay, listen, the demons are not attacking you. We know they're not attacking you, darling. You want to purge. But it's just, come on. Sometimes I don't want to hear it, man. So, you know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know.
We gotta dive into that. What's the proper way to correct somebody in church? We gotta talk about it.
Definitely.
I don't know. It sounded like he had to wake her out of. Wake up!
Hush! Hush!
Hush!
Yeah,
and
then
he had more commentary.
Yeah, to say that's the part that killed it. Yeah.
Oh, I would have.
Because I was like, the only voice I want to hear is God, and then started talking. I was like, sir, you should.
He said, because he preaches after, like, for 2 minutes after, innit? He goes, someone saying, like, what was he saying? He's saying, like, I can't remember what he actually said. Oh, some of you are screaming. Some of you are too ready to scream rather than letting God do what He do. And I said, you know what? He's right. Some of you are screaming, and you're gonna be here again next week screaming again, which means it's not working. I need you to hush in the name of Jesus and receive receive what you need to receive. That's what he should have told her. He should have told her receive instead of telling her to hush. Maybe she would have changed her position. Who knows? You know what I mean? Yeah, someone said Jesse's been warned about it. I can't lie to you. I'll be honest with you. My spirit didn't take to him. I don't know what it was, but I never wanted to make a judgment. I just said, hey, my spirit sometimes doesn't take to people, and it is what it is. So I don't want to judge him on this clip.
But it's in the name of Jesus for me. Like, don't do that. Don't do that.
He was fed up. He was fed up with her. I cannot. I've never seen anybody got.
He said,
you ain't got but one time to talk to me that way. I come right out of that spirit and get to tussling. Now we got to throw hands. Square, brother, square.
In the name of Jesus. Now I gotta throw hands.
Bow. Now, how about that? That coming,
John said you better try Jesus. Don't try me.
You prophesied that.
Exactly right. Try Jesus because I got hands. Yeah.
hush.
Be more patient than I am. Okay, work.
You know, I could have looked at the you just got to tell me once to be quiet, but all that extra talking, now you want to fight.
Yeah.
You want to fight me now.
Listen, I personally, I was looking at it, I was like, I don't know. I think either way, I just think that maybe it wasn't the right way to shut it down, but it had to be shut down if you don't want it to go on. I just think he could have been smarter about it and just said, listen, I need everyone to be silent. You know what I mean? Everybody go on mute. If people can do it for Beyonce, they could have done it for you. Because the name of Jesus is above Beyonce. So you could have done it that way. But, you know what I mean? But he chose to single her out and then go to her.
Don't let her fans hear that, okay?
I'm going to say it again. Jesus is above the name of Beyonce. Argue with him. Don't argue with me because that spiritual warfare is real.
All right.
On that.
No. Don't call them out now. Please leave them.
Where they at?
Don't antagonize them now. All right.
Where they at?
You don't
silence in the name of Jesus.
Swarm of bees. But yeah, the word. Well, if we're going to talk about it, I won't go into it. But the word on the curve is that she does that every Sunday. That's supposedly.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard that shit every Sunday. Which is probably why he was fed up. But he probably should have dealt with it behind the scenes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I guess these preachers are showing their frustration because Kim Burrell, she be telling people to be quiet. She told this woman to stop singing.
Hush.
She was like, "My voice is the only voice."
Yeah.
Right when this
That
woman
was
got.
wild.
Have you seen that clip? Did you
That
see
was
the clip?
Yeah, I did.
That
was wild. That was wild.
And then invited her to come back up and sing. Oh, you quiet now? It's like, Kim Burrell is notoriously she gives people to work verbally.
Oh, these people, man. Oh, gracious. All right, we're going to get out of here. Listen, audience members, thank you so much. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of uploads. We appreciate you guys. Stay locked, stay loaded. We'll see you again very soon.